If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiamiCF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where InterMiami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Good morning. How are you doing, my friend? It's game week.
Yes, I feel like clapping, bro. Oh, we made it. We made it. This is like Survivor, right? We finally made it to game week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I saw the coach this week talk about how he thinks his team has matured some, which you kind of hope. And we're hoping that there's progress. You know what I mean? Not crazy Kane fan progress. I mean, yes, I would love to see them win 11, 12 games, win the ACC, and go to the playoffs. Yes, I would love to see all of that, but that's not what I'm saying. It's just I think this is the hope now that we start seeing more organized football.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? If you got beat, it's because you got outplayed, not because you made a shit ton of mistakes or, the guys weren't prepared or whatever. You can handle getting beat because the other team's better, but you can't handle giving stuff away too. So interesting that you open up against Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, and everybody sort of looked at the schedule right when it came out and said, well, the season really begins in week 2 when they play Texas A&M. Well, Miami of Ohio, yes, they are a MAC school that only won 6 games last year and was 6-7. But they got 9 defensive starters back. They were one of the best teams in the country at creating turnovers. And go back and look at last year. Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State. Look back at a couple years before that, right? They played Central Michigan here, and we're in a dogfight with Central Michigan. So I think more than anything, Miami fans want to see the Hurricanes take care of business against the teams that they're supposed to take care of business against. And this is one of those teams. I think they're, a 16.5 or 17-point favorite going into this game. 17-point favorite. I think the line probably moved down a little when news of Tyler Van Dyke, supposedly injuring his finger came out. But my point here, just, these guys have to go out and cover the spread. Play well. Don't don't sort of screw around and be in a game in the fourth quarter.
Fighting to win. Kick their ass. Kick their ass. That's what you got. Yeah. You got to kick their ass. That's what you should do. Now, this is the kind of shit that doesn't happen 20, 30, 40 years ago. So now we've got the Miami of Ohio quarterback, who I would imagine this is Blaine Gabbert's brother, right? He's
one of the Gabberts.
Yeah, Brett Gabbert, right?
Yep.
And so I'm going to play Brett Gabbert's soundbite here.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure it is in the picture. Okay, good, because I'm running the show, and it's kind of a disaster when I run it and not Sean. So here's the younger Gabbert talking some smack.
I think this plays off the same question, but the real Miami is where? In Coral Gables or here in Oxford?
Oxford, Ohio.
Because you're around longer, you're just...
No, I just think we'll show them September 1st.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that if you're Miami of Ohio, you would have never dared to say that shit 25, 35 years ago, because Randall Hill would have been in your end zone with 6 shooters. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And this is how far they've fallen.
Mm-hmm.
That Miami of Ohio team is the one that's talking. This isn't Alabama talking crap or Georgia,
right?
Or Clemson. It's Miami of Ohio. So I wonder. We talk about this whole cliche bulletin board material. Is this bulletin board material for them?
Well, I'm sure they played this video without question for Miami's players. There's no doubt in my mind Mario has used this already. But to Brett Gabbert's defense, I will say this. I think he was 5 months old the last time Miami won a national championship. Says he was born August 4th, 2000. So he didn't grow up in an era where Miami was anything remotely good in terms of the Hurricanes. So I don't have a problem with what he said because quite frankly, he hasn't lived in the
I want
world.
the guys in Coral Gables to have a
Yeah,
problem with it, not
right.
me, not you, not the fans,
Well,
because
I
you know
I hate to say it, oh, none of the guys in Coral Gables have grown up in an era either where the Hurricanes won a national title. So they see the banners, they know the history's there, right? They get reminded, they get tapped on the shoulder every time there's a hurricane, sort of when all the guys come back on campus and spread the word. But the point here is it's so far removed. It's so far removed that something like that honestly doesn't resonate because it resonates for the old people. It resonates for us, but
right.
it
That's what I'm
does
saying.
not resonate for anybody who is in that locker room because
Yeah,
what do they have to show for it? Right?
right.
What do
And
they have to show for it?
young fans too, like young Dolphin fans, young Canes fans. They have no idea what success is. Like nothing.
No.
Zero idea what it's like to actually have a real football team that can, especially Dolphin fans. Oh my God, they got to be my age.
Yeah. And
Like I
let's
was,
and let,
I was 7 and 8 years old in those two championships.
listen, man, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, I was 6. I remember watching Dan Marino and being like, "Man, this is awesome. He's the best quarterback. This is my favorite player. We're going to be in the Super Bowl every year." And I think the closest we came was that 29-10 loss to the Bills, right, in 92 or
You're
whatever that was.
six. You're
Huh?
six. You're 6, and I'm a senior in high school that year. Ah, fucking
My
hell.
bad, bro. My bad.
Fucking God bless.
I know, but hey, listen, man, we're both older guys here. We've got kids. We've got, it's we're well into our adulthood here. Oh, that's the sad part. That's how long it's been. So,
So, what do we know about Tyler and the report, and how close is he to 100%? What have you heard at all? Is he slowed by this injury at all?
well, Mario admitted that he missed a couple practices. And I guess if you want to say was he dealing with something? Yes. Uh, is it gonna stop him from starting on Friday? No. And that's the stance Mario has taken. And I'll say this. I reached out. I heard about this Monday of last week, and multiple people messaged me saying, "Hey, he got hurt in practice. He's not even taking snaps. He's not playing. He's supposed to miss the first 3 weeks of the season." I immediately reached out to somebody I know would know the answer to this question, and the response I got was, "He's fine. He's playing on Friday." So
Right.
again, injuries happen, right? Oh, I mean, you covered the NFL for a long time. How many times did a quarterback, maybe slap their hand on somebody's helmet and have to miss a few days, and then they were still out there on Sunday, right? I mean, it's still right.
Sometimes guys are really bad on mopeds before they actually are supposed to be on the game. Remember with Vinny Testaverde?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I'm old. I don't know if you remember that, but
But my point here is like shit happens in practice. Guys get banged up, they miss a couple days and whatever. They're still there on game day. And so, yes, is he going to be 100%? Probably not. I mean, if you bang a thumb or a ring finger and you do it against a helmet, it's probably going to hurt. But Tyler played with a grade 3 separated shoulder last year against Florida State. He got shot up in the shoulder, went out there and played and was terrible, but he played with a shoulder injury. This is not a shoulder injury. This is a finger injury. And against Miami of Ohio, you should be able to start him, run the football a lot, and have him throw when you need to throw and win the game. So I think they should be fine.
normally I'll ask you an unfair question like, hey, so what are you expecting from the Canes? Because we really don't know what to expect from the Canes. So let me
Right.
ask you a more unfair question. Where's Miami of Ohio going to give them trouble? Because again, you don't follow Miami of Ohio. So
Yeah.
what is it that, it's game one, the unknown. We know something about them from last year. So from what information you've gathered, if you're a Canes fan, what's the thing that should be concerning coming
Uh,
from the Miami of Ohio side? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be concerned because you got an older quarterback in Gabbert, right? Whose bloodlines, he's a guy, family bloodlines in terms of reaching the NFL, right? I think he only
Right.
played 4 games last year because he was banged up, but he's the kind of guy who can beat you, right? Certainly, if the Middle Tennessee State quarterback can beat you, this guy can beat you. He's kind of what's the word that they used to describe him yesterday? Lance Guidry, I think, called him I don't know, slippery or something of that nature. Like he can make plays. So you have a quarterback who's older, who's experienced. It's not a
So he's
freshman. It's not
like a crafty guy back there. Is that what it
crafty
is?
guy, essentially. Yeah, I mean, I forgot the exact word Guidry used. I'm forgetting now because I've been working on so many different things. But um, he's the kind of guy that can beat you. Do they have a bunch of studs at receiver and running? Not necessarily. They're average guys. They shouldn't be better than Miami. It's not like they have some super studs that they're going to be in the NFL next year. And defense is their strength and creating turnovers. They were one of the best teams in the country in terms of turnover margin a year ago. Miami turned it over quite a bit against Middle Tennessee State, if I remember correctly. They struggled and gave up a lot of big plays. So I think that's what you're facing. You're facing a Middle Tennessee State type team that's probably a 500 type bowl team, maybe a little better in the MAC because it's the MAC conference. They're facing a coach who's been there a long time. So again, this is an experienced team. It's an older team, and that's who you open with.
I'm hoping that we see just really solid play from the offensive line here because you're not facing what would be a great defensive front. And you are supposed to be better on the offensive line. If there's one thing I want to see is that you give the quarterback some time to actually make some plays. I really would like to see some kind of consistency from the offensive line, dude.
I agree, and I think you're going to have that. I think you're going to see the difference with a Matt Lee, with a Javian Cohen, and the inside. I think you're going to be able to see Miami run the ball behind those two guys quite a bit in this game. Jalen Rivers is a guy that the coaching staff loves at left tackle. At times, I think Jalen is probably better suited to play inside, but I don't know that Miami of Ohio has the kind of elite edge rushers that are going to give Jalen trouble. That'll be the next week when they play Texas A&M and when they get Clemson and Florida State on the schedule. But against the Miami of Ohio, you should be able to protect Tyler's blind side, and you should be able to get some push up front. So no excuses, man. Like this is 42 new players, 7 new assistant coaches. Last year's supposed to be last year. This is supposed to be a new start, and they should look different on Friday.
And by the way, Mario loves to run the ball, right? Well,
Mhm.
here's the perfect game to try to start to establish
Yeah.
that you're going to punch people in the face and you're going to shove the ball down their throats when you have to,
Right.
because just like with Tua, a couple times I got pissed with Mike McDaniel, and this offseason he even went to apologize to Raheem Mostert that he didn't use him enough. And he admitted to everybody that he didn't use the running game enough. And there were times last year, dude, they were averaging 7 yards a carry against the Bills and 9 yards a carry against the Packers. And they gave up on the run.
Mhm.
And it pissed me off because, okay, so you want to keep Tua healthy? Well, dude, run the ball. So that way the linebackers are on their heels, not on their toes coming at you. And then at the same time, any quarterback on Mother Earth is way more dangerous when you run the ball.
Oh, of course.
And so please help out Tyler Van Dyke with that. Please get that line straight. Please shove the ball down people's throats. Punch them in the mouth. That's how you made life easy for Erickson or Testaverde or Walsh or anybody in the past, because you could always hand it off to Highsmith or Donnell Bennett or whoever the hell you had back there, bro. I don't care if you had the fly back there. You could always run. It didn't matter. And to me, that's what you got to get back to. And that's one characteristic that I do love about Mario's game, is that he is dedicated to the run, being an offensive lineman. And so please run the ball so you can make Tyler Van Dyke better, bro. Please.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that a lot in this game. You're right, especially if Tyler's dealing with a banged up finger or whatever. The smart thing is to have him run the ball a lot, and it's going to be running back by committee. We know that much. Shannon Dawson said it. I think
That's
AJ.
That's all levels now, bro. That's all levels.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and they have the guys. It's not like, you're having a huge drop off. They're healthy now at the start of the season, right? Don Chaney is healthy at the start of the season. He's been injured every year since he's been here, but he's healthy to start. You have AJ Allen, who came in from Nebraska, who's a guy that can pop off and explode and run a long one. You've got Mark Fletcher, the freshman. So there's certainly enough personnel around where you can hand the ball off to different guys and power your way to a victory against a team that you're a 17-point favorite against.
All right, what are you doing in the Athletic to get us ready for the matchup on Friday night?
Well, I'm going to do a season preview. I'm gonna sit here and go game by game. I'm gonna do all kinds of. There's a depth chart. I don't think Miami's put out a depth chart. Mario's waiting until the last minute to do that, and it's pretty meaningless, by the way, because they literally ran the same depth chart from game one the entire season last year. They didn't even update it with injuries or anything. So, I will have a depth chart. I will have some notes. I will have my predictions for the season. That'll be out sometime either Wednesday or Thursday. And all kinds of ACC-related content to read. We did our over-unders. Grace Rayner and I did our over-unders. We have mailbags. There's so much stuff that I'm writing. I'm never off this computer. So
I can imagine. By the way, how far are we from the finalization of SMU, Stanford, and who's the other?
Cal.
How far?
I think it's looking really good. I think it's going to happen. I think that they're going to get the final approval for it. I mentioned to you one of the last times I was on with you that it's going to generate somewhere, I think, $70 million more in revenue to add those schools, to have the late night programming on the West Coast, to have games in Dallas. Just generating more.
This
fun.
was all pulled off by you, right? You son of a bitch. You wanted trips to California and Texas, didn't you? That's what
hey, listen, right? What I try to tell people,
you're bored with the Virginias. You're like, yes. I got to go to Blacksburg. What the fuck, dude? This was you, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. No, in all honesty, like, if you think about it, like, if you're not going to be in the two premier conferences, though, like, if you're just not Big Ten material or you're not SEC material, why not add those teams, right? Stanford's a national champion in a bunch of other sports.
You're waiting too long as it is. You're picking from the scabs that are left.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You better pick the best scabs that are left if you're going to grow your conference. And that's the one thing that the ACC fell asleep completely at the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it that your contracts were screwed up, but you should have had the foresight to add quality teams to your conference. And now you're, It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is, right? And you know what?
Hey, listen, you got free trips now to Texas and California.
I got trips. That's the most important thing here. I get to go to wine country a couple times a year now, maybe if I'm lucky.
I knew that's what this was all about, bro. I knew it. You guys can get some extra money. You bring in 3 teams, but I get some trips, okay? And so
who doesn't want to go out to San Fran? Come on, brother.
Navarro's world. We're just living in it, bro.
That's right, all. Brother. That's it.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Better yet, subscribe to Athletic, and you'll get a lot of that preview stuff
right there right now.
That's right. Yeah. So
$1 a month for 12 months if you sign up now.
Ridiculous. So make sure you subscribe. That way you're right here at Cane season. You'll get everything right there. $1 a month. That's ridiculous. And you support Manny, which is important. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up later on in the week, and we'll talk about the matchup. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Sounds good. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your InterMiamiCF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or InterMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans.
This is the Big O Show. Show.